Hello, friends. I am Chevy. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? Hope it's all good and great and wonderful. Everything here is fantastic. I want to have a talk today about something that is it's difficult for me to say out loud. It's difficult for me to put into words because it makes it. What I'm going to say implies that I am not worth what people value me at, or what I am not worth the value that people have applied to me or affixed to me. But I think that's all just internally, and I don't need to worry about it. But it's this simple. I'm a bare minimum kind of person. I do the bare minimum. And I think we had this talk a while back when I was working on the game designs, and I talked about being a little bit embarrassed by the I had a hard time asking people to play them because I've done the bare minimum. What I mean by that is, at that point I was doing just like, okay, this is an actual playable thing, but is it worth playing? I don't know. I haven't tried it. I don't care. Let's play, right? I have been the bare minimum guy my entire life with everything I've ever done. My high school GPA was sub 2.0. I'd have to go pull out I'm pretty sure I graduated like a 1.4 or 1.5. I did the bare minimum in high school. There was a few classes I got A's in, but for the most part, I just didn't care. And I've been that way all along. I did the bare minimum in the Marine Corps. I pushed the boundaries because in the Marine Corps there are rules, or there are standards, and if you're at the bottom end of those standards, you're wrong. Right? Like that's the way it's looked at. But I would skirt those standards pretty closely. My house, if you'd have seen this house a few years ago, you would have said, "Oh my God, what have you done?" Because this was a brand new build in 2012, and it got ruined with my family living here. And after they left, I just kind of lived in it for a while before M came along and pushed me to fix it. But is it fixed? No. Is it livable? Yeah. It's not as bad as I'm making it sound, but it is the bare minimum amount of effort I have to put into maintenance, right? What I mean by that is, if you walked into my house right now, you wouldn't go, "Oh my," right? You would walk in and go, "All right, this is a lived-in home that's inviting." It's not dirty, but it's also not clean, and it's not messy, but it's also not organized. I've done the bare minimum maintenance to make it feel like a home, right? I do the bare minimum with everything. And this comes about because last night, my child in 7th grade had their first band concert. And we went, I went. Em had a Christmas thing of her own to go to, so I went to this Christmas concert. And I got to watch the 6th graders the 6th graders would come out and they would be like, "We're going to do Jingle Bells." And they would do like 4 measures of Jingle Bells, and that was it. Like, it was 20 notes and they were done. And they did like 6 songs like that. But then the 7th and 8th grade group comes out and they start playing. Now my kid's playing sax this year. Flute before, switched to sax this year. And I got to watch my kid play through my camera. I took the camera, zoomed in, and watched play. And I could tell there was a consistent, that child has always been 100% effort. Like, whatever it is you say, that's it, I'm doing it, right? And I can remember looking back at that, concert, when the first director came up on stage. He, from a distance, looked so much like my middle school band director. It gave me a little bit of pause, right? Because my middle school band director hated me, because I was that bare minimum kid. I was a drummer, a percussionist. I did not practice ever except for in class, and I was barely good enough to play the songs, right? Like, I could do it, but I was not going to put forth effort to be better. And he just absolutely hated me. And I did that all the way through high school, to the point that I was never in like freshman, junior, or freshman and sophomore year for sure. I didn't play on the field. I played in what's called the pit. I played up front, played a bunch of like ancillary percussion instruments like marimbas and xylophones and that kind of thing, which I loved. I love piano, so I was very naturally enjoyed playing those things. But to put me with the drum corps, playing in step with everybody, I wasn't going to put forth the effort for that. And it wasn't until my junior and senior year, definitely my senior year. I don't know if I played in my junior year, but I think I did, where he switched me to snare just because we had a lack of players. And again, like my band instructor in high school didn't hate me, but it was I obviously wasn't a good player. Like I was the one holding everybody back. And it's just so much of my freaking life. I've been that bare minimum guy. But I look at my kid, both of them. My oldest has a lot of my tendencies. My tendencies are, I will put all of myself into something I'm interested in. But I won't put any of myself into anything else. Like, I just don't care. And my oldest does that. But my oldest is actually talented. Like, my oldest wants to do art, wants to do music, wants to do stage and theater work. And they've poured everything they've got into that. Like, just 100%, that's it. But they're also willing and able to be a good student when told to be a good student, right? Like if the teachers are on top of her, and the parents are on top, then good results. But left to their own devices, nah, that's not going to happen. And so I see a lot of those tendencies, my tendencies in her, because I'm the same way. But damn, I've been just, all of my jobs I've ever had, bare minimum. Whatever, But the weird part about it is I've felt like for so long, there was a time in my life where I was convinced every single day they're going to have to fire me because I haven't done any work in months. That's how I felt. And the reality was I definitely wasn't doing a good amount of work, but I was doing work. But at the same time, I've constantly progressed. I've constantly gotten glowing reviews and made pay raises. And how? I don't know, right? That was, my past. Now I do great work. I do good work. I think that I'm doing valuable things for my team, valuable things for the institution that I work for, and they pay me. Now they pay me an equivalent salary to the effort that I put in. But man, just watching my kid focus and play last night really hit home. And then listening to today's Making It podcast, if we've talked about them before, go listen to them. They talked a lot about their origin stories. And if you listen to Jimmy DiResta's origin story, God, it's so closely mirrors my own. Just like barely, like, he got diagnosed as LD and loved it because he was like, I don't have to do anything. I just sit here and fake my way through this and they give me grades. I didn't go that far, but so close, right? Like that bare minimum effort. I know exactly what it's like. And it's frustrating, My parents on the surface have always been like full effort, but only for themselves. Like if you go to my parents' house, everything is perfect and in order. The outside, my dad, like that's all he did was work in the yard, work on the outside of the house, fix things. I don't do any of that. The trim around my garage door has been peeling and most of the paint has fallen off of it. The gray wood is showing through. It's been that way for years. Still haven't painted it. That's not something my dad would see it and immediately fix it because that's the kind of effort he puts in. I see it and I go, not worth my time. I don't know. I don't know what this is about. Just that getting kind of slapped in the face last night and then today listening to that podcast about, but it makes me proud. It makes me proud that my kid puts in the effort and really tries hard. And I think that's going to be a quality for them that extends well into their future and really helps them be a good person and a good member of whatever team they find themselves on. It took me a long time to get there. It took me a long time to be a good teammate because I was too self-centered, I guess, absorbed in my own interests. Anyway, it's Friday. I do not have the kids this weekend. I do have things to do, such as work on the room and spend time with him. So maybe some gaming. I don't know. We'll see what happens. What are you going to do? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again Monday. Today's word you should know to sound smart is inviolate. Without restriction, violation, supervision, or fear of punishment. Inviolate, he could rupture wires, mangle flaps, destroy the balance of the ship. Richard Matheson, American science fiction writer. Inviolate. I-N-V-I-O-L-A-T-E. I'm not sure I'm saying that right, but it says inviolate. Without restriction, violation? Meaning that you don't violate a standing edict? I don't understand. Supervision or fear of punishment. What is so? Without restriction, supervision, or fear of punishment. If you're not in violation, then why would you be punished? That whole entry confuses me.